first thing I notice about this guy's face is he's right side dominant. So in other words, he has more pronounced features on his right side of his face. And you can kind of see that we have a slightly higher zygomal, slightly higher pupil, more vertical proper facial visible, his actual periocular region. We have more inclined brows with a higher head in comparison to the left side of his face, okay? Some other things we might take note of. You have a nasal bulbosity. You have no hinine columella. You have a relatively long philtrum with a defined cupid's bow but a thin upper lip in comparison to his lower lip. We have masculized jaw thirds here, okay? So if we take the thirds of his jaw, the middle portion here, so his chin, his gonians here, this middle third is slightly larger than his two adjacent thirds, and this is quite masculine looking. He has quite a strong chin in general. Now, his cheekbones are hollow. Again, we can see this OG curve with the lighting. We have a medium to high set cheekbones, categorically. Now, this is roughly 78%. So from the top of his cupid's bow to his zygomatic height, or his cheekbone height, comparison to his pupillary height. So this line is 78% in this line, okay? Medium to high set cheekbones. Now, if we do some other cheekbone assessments like the lateral projection, we see that he has good lateral projection, okay? So his malar prominence measurement, which is your roughly there, okay? Then we'll take the divisor here, by zygomatic curve. And this is about 57%, okay? In other words, his zygomatic bones fold and they configure in a very attractive way, okay? And also they are very harmonious with his bigonial width, as his jaw width is about 87% of his bizygomatic width. Very aesthetic, near perfection for Caucasian brows. Another thing we do see is a very compact eye shape, and this eye is about 3.6 to 1. Okay, very masculine looking. No square shell, and quite prominent orbicularis muscles as well, as we can actually see this crease underneath his orbit itself. Okay. Again, we have these powerful brows that's relatively close to his pupillary height, and the wrist measurement is roughly 95%. So these are quite low set brows. And he has a high amount of facial contrast with a lighter iris, darker brows, dark hair, clear skin, very homogeneous as well. And the other thing that I would mention is a quite slightly wider palate with a fuller upper lip, and that maybe would protrude a little bit more into his philtrum. Maybe more defined philtrum curls as well would make his perioral region a little more aesthetic. Other than that, it's very good looking, obviously. Okay, from the side, a few things to note first. Okay, we have quite the squared off in mascumized jaw. So we'll go from the condyle here to his gonian, and we see a little bit of gonian rounding here. But from the front, we had a little bit of invertedness. We got quite lateral and concave chin. So this is quite good. We see a chin shape is protruding slightly downward. Not really a big deal, but it is a little oblong, or in other words, a little proclined. In other words, more laterally projected along the Frankfurt plane unit. So we can do the Frankfurt plane here, and we'll see minimal recession from his nadir on. Okay, and this is rougher than 90. You see some chin projection past this, and this is pretty much in line with his glabella, if not surpassing. So quite a strong jaw in general. This is good. Another thing we see is in correspondence with his mid-face. These two lines are pretty much parallel. Very good. and we see a slight rounding of the filter, good quality to have, but it does protrude. His Kamigawa is a little superior here, and you have a nostril that tends to hang slightly, okay? Type 4 classification. And we have a swooping upturned nose, and again, we can still see a little bit of the nasal lomosity from the side, okay? And that's going to also contribute to a little bit of the Candianello show here. Okay. Yeah, that's all I'm going to cover.